This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy!
90 for Chill, the podcast, proudly presents to you Ali's Accessories Shop on Etsy's Trash Feature Review.
Where's a copy?
Barney, the cash.
You've got her.
Huh?
On your...
It's a fake!
You have a new target.
Get in the car.
Okay.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
How come you have a gun?
You're being pursued by professional killers.
Back up! Run him over!
You must be kidding!
Oh, get in!
I can't see!
Floor it!
What?
No!
The man I hired is now protecting the girl. I need to get rid of them.
Should have called me sooner. We need to get out of town.
No, I like town.
I'm ignoring her.
Ow!
3 rooms, please.
What name?
Smith.
Smith.
Yeah, same name. Who did this? Rembrandt. Give me his address now.
He's dead. Dead? When?
You can help me look after her. So I'll be your assistant.
Fantastic, the Two Musketeers.
Would you please let me go first? All clear.
You don't say.
We're safe as long as we follow a few basic rules of security. You're not listening.
I am.
You're eyeing up the barman.
What were you saying?
Sooner or later, one of them is going to make a mistake.
She's completely out of control. With killers after you, you're discreet. You hide. You don't yell in hotel lobbies.
He tried to kill me!
Wait! Wait!
My ear! You sick bastard! Put it on ice!
Move!
And I've just concluded watching Wild Target, starring Emily Blunt, Bill Nighy, Rupert Grint, Martin Freeman, Jeff Bell. I mean, Rupert Everett. It's just quite the English cast. And, of course, that really intrigues me, honestly. I thought it was, at least from the American disc, back when it was on the shelves of Family Video, I saw Bill Nighy, cool. Rupert Grint, okay. I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but I digress. And I thought, at least from the appearance, that the female on the box was Emma Roberts. Is that it? Emma Watson. I don't know. Hermione, I guess. Yeah, I'm recording this on my phone, so I don't have an immediate way of accessing those facts, but I digress. So what I can say is I found this movie funny. It's about a hitman whose mother was the matriarch of a hitman family, essentially. Just wants her son to do his late departed father proud, and wants to pass on the legacy. So Bill Nighy is the hitman, and coming up on his 55th birthday, it kind of throws him off, and that might lead into him failing to successfully assassinate the art counterfeiter, or I should say, well, basically she goes and sells a fake Rembrandt to Rupert Everett, and he sends hitmen after her. But first he sends Bill Nighy's character. And after Bill Nighy screws up the hit the first night, the backup crew is sent in, and Nighy reflexes ends up killing one of the bodyguards, and a guy who was just making a living in London washing cars ends up incapacitating the second hitman. So that would be Rupert Grint. So in that, what follows is an unknowing Emily Blunt hires Bill Nighy as his bodyguard, and Bill Nighy sees Rupert Grint as an apprentice. And then the hilarity consumes. So, very dry humor, just very matter of fact with everything, very English. So, I don't think you can ever be too English, but I think this is the kind of stuff they're talking about. Say, when my ignorant manager at Marine Bank said Good Omens was far too English, too British, while Lucifer is not. No, I just don't think you give a crap about the motherland, or, well, with her last name, probably not the motherland, and that's going to even give me more superiority complex. I digress. So I had a lot of fun watching it, but I'll say there's nothing really clever about the direction. There's some great gags involving violence, which I appreciate, but I could see why it's not really critically well received, and I mean, it's just kind of run of the mill, and there's some slow spots in a madcap comedy like this, which might deter people from it, but I mean, if you love a movie where somehow they still work in nature versus nurture into this, I cannot help but recommend Wild Target. I had a lot of fun with it, but as I say, that's my taste thing. But if it's not, well, now I'm just going to further my superiority complex. If that's not your taste thing, you might need to re-examine.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise. Hello and welcome to 90 for Chill, the podcast. This is your host, Cool Movies Darth. You can follow what I'm watching on Letterboxd. The username is CMDarth. If you're trying to find this podcast via your Amazon Echo or your Google Nest device, just search for Podcast by Russ Stevens, or dare I say blank, latest podcast by Russ Stevens. It's that simple. This week, no guest. I kind of like to alternate. Well, and I say no guests, but it's a weird little format. So I was able to sneak in about 20 minutes of conversation I found worthwhile with my older sister, The Poetic Critic. That's The Poetic Critic on Letterboxd if you're looking for her. And she's the ideal person to follow if you need to know what movies you should be checking out. If you want to break down those genre barricades, she's almost completed Roger Ebert's great movie list. As the title implies, this is From Blunt to Bacon. So I kind of like the pot humor there, obviously, but the idea is, starting with my W edition of this year's Alley's Accessory Shop on Etsy's Trash Feature Review, I decided, well, if we're going to do Wild Target with Emily Blunt and then try to save the other letters in the alphabet for their own little episodes, why not try to connect Emily Blunt to Kevin Bacon? And via 90-minute movies, it ended up only taking me 3. So it's a good thing that the Poetic Critic came through for me. And she seems all right with me using the audio because it was a little sneaky. I kept referring her to her as the Poetic Critic, and it took her a bit to figure out that, oh, you're actually recording, and she did a great job. This is the kind of stuff I like, a little more free flow, and that's what I expect from anybody who wants to be a guest on 90 for Chill, the podcast. And if you want to do that, all you have to do is send an email to rustthebus07@gmail.com. Now, ideally, I would rather you focus on movies that have a narrative that concludes within 100 minutes. Meaning, if the end credits drag the film past 100 minutes, but there's no stinger or post-credit sequence, I think it's good to go. Or we could do a movie theme, a franchise, a director, an actor, that's ideal. But I'll work with anything. I can find a way. So just offer me a movie, and we'll go from there. Or a subject, I should say. And again, that email address is russthebus07@gmail.com, RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. And if you want to talk trash about the podcast or just find an interesting Twitter follow, my handle is @CatBusRuss. I'd rather you bring the trash there than to do it on your podcast apps. In other words, rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps, 5-star reviews preferably. I will reciprocate, and I tend to use the username TheScoopStaley. I think that's all the formalities. I just want to pay homage and respect to Stacia Marie Harden. It's going to be her birthday on the anniversary of her final day on September 7th. And, since then, I've just been doing my best to make her proud, and I hope I'm doing so, and I'm hoping that she's looking after everybody she touched in her life. With that out of the way, we're going to get to my conversation with the Poetic Critic, and she's going to be in a Bill Nighy sandwich. We'll then go to Detective Pikachu, and then we'll close her out as we go from Emily Blunt to Bill Nighy to Ryan Reynolds to Kevin Bacon. So that's the lineup. The final film will be R.I.P.D, and we'll go from there. Thanks for coming.
Superman!
And before we get on with the show, let me apologize to Emma Watts for not remembering her name. As I say, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I really do dig the Fantastic Beasts franchise, but I think that might just be more about me and how I deal with kids in cinema.
Atuk will be the leader of the Stone Age. He will inspire the men and Zug the women. He will protect them from all the beasts of the earth. Ringo Starr, Barbara Bach, Caveman, rated PG.
So, Ringo.
Looking at.
Oh, I was just going over the Poetic Critic Letterboxd, and the most recent activity is Caveman from 1981.
Another Tubi one.
Oh, okay.
Jessica's fond of that one, and it is actually pretty cute.
Oh, man.
I don't know how the heck anybody came up with a film like that in 1981.
Well, did Ringo write Yellow Submarine? The song? Not the... I'm just saying, I thought that's pretty much...
It's a good fit for him.
Yes.
But yeah, it's really kind of winsome in its way. Part of it is that there's virtually no English dialogue.
Oh, no.
There are
for
few
those,
words.
For those who didn't want the Ray Dong Chong banging, this is for you.
Well, you could argue that the reason we don't do caveman movies anymore is between Caveman being the straight spoof, and Quest for Fire being the let's do it absolutely straight and credible version.
You wouldn't be surprised. You'd be surprised. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't really kick off. Maybe thank you, Jack Black and Michael Cera for that, because there are a lot of kids who dug 10,000 BC.
Yeah, Jessica kind of likes that one too.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not really an Emmerich person.
Oh, good. No. I will not speak well of Roland Emmerich.
But
Dolph Lundgren and Tiny Lister carried him to his only awesome movie. And Jerry Orbach. Jerry Orbach always makes something more interesting.
Yeah.
Toy Soldiers. Well, I like the idea of killing Will Wheaton finally. Oh, but Jerry Orbach's going to get vengeance for him? Sign me up. And then I was in my Louis Gossett Jr. phase where he could do no wrong. Iron Eagle, classic.
It is kind of weird how so many early 80s comedies are just totally cutesy, winsome things like this, though. Like, it's the same year as Heartbeeps, which... And Heartbeeps is interesting. It's got the ingredients right, but the direction is so It's only 79 minutes, but it's very slowly paced for how simple it is. I mean, and which is a shame because there are some interesting ideas there. Everybody's game for what they're doing, but
yes, yeah. I mean the turn.
But it's weird too because Alan Arkush is the guy who did Rock and Roll High School and Kind of Crazy, so he can, and which are delightful films. Somehow doing the major studio projects just sapped something out of him. Because, like, on the set of Heartbeats, everyone was complaining, you're staging this too slow. Think of the pacing. Apparently, it was also a problem with the other major studio film he did, which was Caddyshack 2.
Okay, let's set up that the better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been in a... Yeah, Dan Aykroyd, the man can use some wrongs type stage.
Yeah.
Going through that Twitter thread, I think it was... from Emmasaurus Rex on Twitter, who asked about when you think about bears in movies, which one comes to mind? And I said The Great Outdoors. I don't like The Great Outdoors. I think Dan Aykroyd is awful in it. John Candy definitely misplaced. I mean, everybody's kind of misplaced, honestly. Then I see somebody on Twitter share some information about, like, we're going to try a podcast about neighbors. And then you got nothing but... And what was it? Nothing But Trouble was Aykroyd's directorial debut. I mean, it's just like, oh man, like when he misses, he misses.
The stories around that one are fascinating.
89 is just the weirdest of years because it was kind of the return, like the cementation that the blockbuster was back. I mean, I know you had Who Framed Roger Rabbit the year previously, but up until then, as I've said on the podcast before, that Morton Cinemas only had one screen.
Yeah, we were still doing the second run back then.
Well, I wouldn't even say second run, but the fact of the matter is, like, you get 1 week of this movie, then on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So it was a rotating reel, which I think works actually better for... I think it's better in a sense just because it makes people have to go out to movies. Yeah. If it's only going to be there a week, instead of, try to wait 3 weeks when it's only going to have a 9 o'clock show.
Yeah, but also that's part of what, made word of mouth workable back in the day.
Yes.
Was if something hung around.
Well, but then again, word of mouth doesn't work today anyhow.
Yeah, but that's because it's a problem with the system. But Gina Davis, Jeff Goldblum, and unidentified wedding bassist who is thrilled to be there.
Yeah, I saw that. Is that supposed to be anybody? The unidentified?
I don't think so.
Okay,
it's just a party they threw after they eloped, sometime after they eloped.
Oh no, I get it, but it's like one of those are you really trying to make me investigate this thoroughly? So, I don't know, I've been having a lot more fun with Twitter since I'm just replying to people instead of looking for home run tweets. Yeah. And then but now it's like screwing up everything's kind of getting screwed up because my emails with notifications are still, and here's your left-wing stuff that is important to you. But I'm making jokes everywhere.
I know. Well, you can't avoid it even if you do just want to do fun stuff, which is what I like to do.
Well, I'm just saying my email notifications are the ones with all the political stuff.
Well, I don't get email notifications.
Oh, well.
I love this one. First look at Pinocchio and Disney's live-action Pinocchio remake. Wow, they got Pinocchio back for this one.
Yes, that was like, okay, like, I don't get these remakes in the sense that, especially after The Lion King. Like, at least you had a child wandering around the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
No, The Lion King is a CGI movie. Don't call it live action. Mm-hmm. And now this is like, I don't know. Like, couldn't we have really warped some kid? I think is what I would have gone with.
An actual puppet.
No. We listened to that Adventures of Pinocchio podcast on the way back from C2E2.
Or even the Roberto Benigni version makes a bit sense if you look at the actual original Italian illustrations. Because Pinocchio is a puppet, didn't say anything in the text that he looked like a boy, so it does look like an adult. At the end, when he's turned into a boy, and then you got a little kid. But until then, it actually makes a little more sense when you look at it that way.
Yeah, those talk of Pinocchio brings up, I think people use the scene from Aquaman where Amber Heard is offended by the... I mean, Amber Heard offended. Sorry, Team Amber here, but like, I mean, it's gotten bad. The yay, Johnny Depp gets more money for his has to pay less money for his lies. He still lied. I think this is all going to... Nothing's going to actually come of it. Otherwise, let's see. I've been watching House of the Dragon. I've been meaning to watch Sandman. And of course, when you follow Neil Gaiman, it's all over the place on Twitter.
Yeah.
And granted, like, Sandman was awesome. I've really only read the first book, but...
I like this. Talking about MCU fans saying how varied the films are. Okay,
no.
Horror MCU movies. Comedy MCU movies. Sci-fi MCU movies.
Yeah.
Action MCU movies. I feel like I'm taking greasy bells.
Yeah, no. To say the MCU is varied is... The only thing that was kind of varied was WandaVision. And that eventually became MCU.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people complained about.
Well, I
it
don't
was
know where
interesting until it got to that point.
Well, I don't know where else you're supposed to go with it, though, because that's the problem. You do have this big universe. Honestly, I think it's Warner Brothers...
Lots of people pointed that out. You know, there is an inevitability that's always going to sink the full potential of what they could be doing with this material.
Well, I don't know if there's any more potential after, like, that's just it. I think What If kind of nails it, like, and scene. Yeah. While, if you're feeding yourself into I really think Star Wars is doing it better, especially with the animated series they had. You watched
I saw a little bit of Visions.
Yeah, Visions, which, like, once they got to the real crazy anime one, where you can buy the Funko Pops for it, which I don't buy the Funko Pops for that one. I love the Kurosawa tribute. Yeah. But, the one with, like, this really reminded me of some weird-ass anime I watched. Yeah. Like, back when manga had to deal with Netflix.
Right.
But at least, at least the idea of the holiday specials, the Lego universe, Star Wars is doing it well, and they're not over flooding it. Like, maybe Solo's bombing, which wasn't a bomb. Like, I swear it probably broke even, but is like, thank you. It's going to slow things down, and once we get a movie, we're going to get a mother-loving movie.
Right.
Marvel just needs to, like, after 20 years, like, I guess as a Star Wars nut, like I am, I really kind of, I never expected to get so much Star Wars content.
Yeah, no.
So I was happy with every 20 years getting something new.
Yeah.
Which I think is what Marvel should have done.
Yeah, it is. It's the flood of so much stuff, and you can't keep up with everything in just one universe. And that pushes out so much other stuff that could be interesting. And
obviously, Warner Brothers at Discovery is making some stupid decisions, and not necessarily stupid decisions. Discovery did not lose a penny on canceling Batgirl. I mean, I can get those moves, and I think it'll eventually backfire, like the AOL merger. But then there's, but I honestly think Warner Brothers is doing better stuff with the comics, despite we got to put up with the Flashpoint, which is really just Ezra Miller's the problem. If they nail it, oh gosh, it's almost like we better not let them nail it, because how do we fix Ezra? You don't. If you can't fix Armie Hammer, you can't fix Ezra Miller. But I kind of like what they're doing, and I hear that Margot Robbie is offended that she was not consulted to be in the Joker sequel. Like,
It is getting kind of...
But no, I like the idea that, but you realize you're not in that universe.
Yeah.
So let Lady Gaga do her thing. And that's the only way you could do... And I think Todd Phillips is definitely overrated, and I think everybody thinks he's not really a great director. But it's kind of nice, though, that, how are we going to make a sequel to Joker? This is how you do something even more ridiculous. I talked about it on the podcast about Big Trouble in Little China. It's like, yes, no, I did not like The Hangover. But The Hangover 2 making everything, taking every joke to the next level. Yes, that's what you do. So,
let's see some other. Sigourney Weaver testing a flamethrower during the production of Alien.
Yeah, you might want to turn that down a bit.
Elvis, directed by Bob Slorman.
Yes, I know. Really good content for audio, but no, that's an image for... Is that Steve Martin? No, Steve Martin. That's not Steve Martin from here, is it?
Right.
No, I'm just saying. I know it's a still from the Muppet movie. Thank you. I was just getting my guys confused. I really need to rewatch the Muppet movie. But, and it's good to bring up Caveman. It qualifies. I see you watched Paris is Burning too, which...
Yeah. No, that's on HBO Max, I think, still right now. It's been on Criterion for a while because it's in the collection.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just a fan of whenever I see a runtime for 71 minutes. Yeah, I think that's still too short to call yourself a movie, but then again, it's it's a classic.
It was okay to come in at an hour in the 30s, so...
What, Paris is Burning? That's 1990.
Well, I'm talking about as a whole.
Oh, yes, no, the old dark, which was good Letterboxd stalking of the Poetic Critic. If you need to broaden your horizons, you follow the Poetic Critic on Letterboxd.
Yeah, the 4 words every woman wants to hear.
Yes, those are definitely the 4 words. A David Cronenberg film. Yeah. Is Crimes of the Future made it to streaming yet?
I'm not sure. I think it might have, but it might be at full price at this point. I haven't seen the DVD yet. I would think.
Well, no, I know that. Believe me.
I'm sure that Walmart will carry it when they do, because they do anything that's even vaguely horror related. But
especially from the Halloween.
Yeah, coming up. But there's also something pretty cool that turned up regarding Cronenberg lately, and I do intend to get it sometime. Gonna have to scroll down a bit to track it down, but maybe.
Let's see. Oh, that is a good poem about the Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah.
Old school escape rooms, corn spiced up with grouchiness of fun tedium. I do want to watch the sequel just to see Richard Dreyfuss just stomp on a guy's face.
That's not on the... No, Dreyfuss is not in the sequel.
I know. It wasn't Dreyfuss? Not the sequel, I'm sorry, the remake.
Right.
Like Kurt Russell's after, oh no, somebody's gonna you gotta climb faster, we're gonna kill the other guy.
But the most endearing thing about Poseidon Adventure is Irwin Allen was not great with pacing his movies.
Yes, no, 117 minutes.
Yeah, and there are others that are even longer.
I know that. I imagine probably.
But this one, the fact that most of the characters we follow in Poseidon Adventure are all kind of pissed off that's fun to watch.
Oh no, and I think they kind of, from what I've seen clips on the remake, as I get Richard Dreyfuss, all he can do right now is grumpy.
Yeah.
And I mean that as a compliment. I got to see him in.
What I love is that I finally got to Poseidon Adventure.
A Neil Simon play in London.
Yeah. What I finally got to with Poseidon Adventure was because the Criterion Channel put it up as one of the Saturday matinees, which makes sense. Because, kids saw that movie, and there are some kids in it. And stuff. So, they know what they're doing.
Oh, you finally got around to memories.
Yeah, thanks to Tubi. I like the third segment best. I understand why people seem to like segment 1. Seems to be the most popular, but
It's been a while since...
It's almost the most ordinary of the three, though, compared to the... Well, what would happen if a Will Ferrell comedy involved the apocalypse?
Yes. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen Memories. Yeah. I have it on DVD.
Mm-hmm. I like anthology films, because...
Hey, Robot Circus is another good one.
Yeah, I've seen Robot Carnival.
Thank you.
The review's way deep down there, but it's there.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise not that exciting in August for you. I mean, you had you got a good end and you got a good beginning.
Yeah, well,
you have
with everything that happened, kind of threw things off.
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
Also, if I only like I also had some music documentaries on. I found I really can't focus enough on music documentaries or concert films. I don't feel comfortable reviewing them. I do like to have them on while I'm doing other stuff. So I actually was catching up on a few of those too. Or, I don't do stuff that if it's the riff track or something, I'm not going to review it. That's not fair.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you can. I'm just saying. Sometimes you can see through the, if it's a good movie that's getting, or a tolerable movie that's getting riffed. Oh no, Amityville 4 with the haunted lamp. It's stupid, but I can't say it's bad. And I did go and see the Return of Swamp Thing live, and oh god, that is bad. But it's so silly and goofy 80s stuff that it's not painful.
Yeah, Roger Rapper liked it for that.
Oh no, what did Roger give the movie?
I can't remember.
Because
but he was okay with it, at least. Yeah. He liked the original film too.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's just the unheralded Wes Craven classics. I don't think Wes Craven really wanted to work on it either.
Everybody was talking about. We were talking about editing around an actor's absence a while back, so this was a good excuse to track down this clip.
You can use existing footage to complete the film without no absence. Why? Looks like they're in trouble, boy. We'll have to fight our way out. Are you ready?
Yes.
You're fired.
You're fired. And with good God.
And with the mother screaming, I will call this conversation done.
So let me get this right. We're forced to listen to this spa music so your head doesn't explode and kill us all. Psyduck? Hey, you put that down. I am not giving you a massage. Psyduck. Fine. Hand it over.
You're a talking Pikachu with no memories who's addicted to caffeine.
What? No. I could stop whenever I want. These are just choices. Another round, extra shot, black as night, thank you. Sorry, it's piping hot. We're gonna need each other.
No, I don't need a Pokemon.
Whoa.
Pikachu, run!
I pictured you as a bit of a briefs guy, but those are nice. Me, I don't wear underwear, I'm not modest.
Pokemon Detective Pikachu, May 10th, rated PG.
Just when you thought it was all right to turn the AC back on in your small one-bedroom apartment. Well, I just, doing the editing for the podcast, realized that I had not reviewed Pokemon Detective Pikachu yet, which it's kind of been a weird going about trying to get this binge done and such. I was watching R.I.P.D, but of course I was watching other stuff before then, and by the time I'm done pausing and everything, then it kind of was running into the 0 hour for All Out, which is a solid pay-per-view. I think is probably getting a little more heat than it deserves. CM Flunk, as I like to call Phil Brooks now, I think he's got to go, but, this is not a wrestling podcast. Gregory Carl will be on next week, but it'll be about Fritz the cat. So, and content warning, I'm just going to let that one fly because we're talking about an X-rated movie that no kid should be aware of until they get of age, I suppose. All right. With all that said, Detective Pikachu, this viewing was, I'd say, as much fun as the first viewing that I watched to see if it actually qualified for 90 for chill. Yeah, it's an hour and 45 runtime, but believe me, that's probably 7 minutes of credits. And no stinger, so... Which kind of sad. Like, it's a good movie. I could use more Pokemon. I mean, as a Pokemon fan, just seeing all these critters brought to life, and... You know, I kind of badmouth CG when I talk about R.I.P.D, but, it's not good for horror, I guess. But, these little creatures, these little Bulbasaurs, oh yeah. I mean, I don't see myself owning a lizard, but, you know, if there was a Bulbasaur, I'd adopt that little guy and still teach Ava how to kick its butt. But, yes, Ava, I'm talking about you. So, all right, but Detective Pikachu is our Bill Nighy to Ryan Reynolds feature. So Justice Smith is the son of a presumed dead police detective, or he's a private dick, I don't know. It's fun that they actually reference the fake detective movies in the Home Alone franchise in this movie to kind of give our primarily Detective Pikachu. So Justice Smith's father is Harry Goodman, the premier detective in Rice City, a city where Pokemon and people live in harmony, meaning no Pokeballs, no Poke battles. Basically, Justice Smith comes into town to straighten up his affairs, and then Harry's Pikachu makes it back to the apartment. Our hero, Tim, can understand the Pikachu. So Pikachu, voiced by Ryan Reynolds, is ecstatic that, hey, now I don't have to... I got that bridge, and I'm not so lonely. Of course, Justice Smith, Tim, is the only person who can hear the Pikachu, so he's doing his best not to seem nuts. And you got a good little dynamic there. You get a great adventure, plenty of fun jokes. The Ditto angle is really fun. I don't know, maybe it's not for people who didn't play the video games. I'm not even saying playing the video games, because I think it's such a cultural impact. I think it's affected every generation after Generation X. I was just that 18-year-old playing Pokemon in high school. I mean, I love it, just the environment, and it's not a overly sappy story. You get a little bit of adventure, which is, kind of takes the focus off, more about Easter eggs by that point. The ending is straight out of Batman, Tim Burton's Batman. So, but it's still fun, especially when you're a nerd like me who can, now we're doing Batman. I don't know why I didn't really pick up on it the first view. So there's a detective mode on the release of this digital, at least. I presume the 4K Blu-ray as well. So I imagine that's just find more Easter eggs yourself. So it's a lot of fun. And I think, again, if you were born in the 90s, this is for you.
Where am I?
Officer Walker, you're dead. Tough day. Welcome to the R.I.P.D. Rest in Peace Department.
Come on, rookie. Here's the deal. Our job is catching bad souls that escaped the afterlife. Bag it, tag it, and bury it deep.
That's sick.
I don't know what else to shoot you between. There's something else. You don't look like you anymore.
What do I look like? Really? An old Chinese guy? What about you? Well, I guess you win, Roy.
If the dead take over, that's it for the living world.
I've never seen that before.
I got this.
You were supposed to contain.
Didn't contain. I'm okay. Nothing to see. Gotta go.
R.I.P.D. Rated PG-13.
And I'm going to do my best to recap R.I.P.D. Rest in Peace Department, starring Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges from 2013. So I can't believe that we really let the Jeff Bridges cowboy thing last for a good 4 years. This is including True Grit and essentially Crazy Heart. But look, when your movie opens up with a suck it joke, you know what you're in for. And this really made me think that when it comes to horror effects, and I know this isn't a horror movie, but the plot of the film is basically there are souls who end up getting stuck in the Rest in Peace department, which Ryan Reynolds is the newest recruit, and Jeff Bridges is the old dog, a lawman from the 1890s. And there's going to be a sequel to this movie, which comes out in November. So I think technically a prequel, but I don't think anything can really save it. But getting back to the effects, the horror effects, I think those peaked at Ghostbusters in 1984. I mean, even at Ghostbusters 2, it's like, yeah, no, slime wall doesn't really work. But I digress. So yeah, this movie takes place in Boston, and Kevin Bacon only gives a half-ass Boston accent. Ryan Reynolds, not at all. So, yeah, I can't really say anybody goes full Boston. So it's kind of weak there. There's some good back and forth, though, between Jeff Bridges and Ryan Reynolds. Bridges is funny in this. And I'll even say, okay, let's see, the woman who was in Weeds is best known for Mary Louise Dreyfus. I might be totally off on that one. She's good in it. But yeah, otherwise, Bacon's kind of weak. As I say, he just doesn't give into it as your antagonist. I mean, he seems to be having fun as the antagonist, but again, he's just not. He's half-assing it. Ryan Reynolds, I don't think, became a viable star until Deadpool. Like, he is just the glib friend that we watch movies with. And otherwise, it's like, if he's not being self-aware, then this is not going to work. So, nothing really can work together to make a great movie, despite even having James Hong in it as the avatar of Ryan Reynolds in The Living. So, as I say, it's fun to see Bridges do some comedy, but not really worth any time.
Can I hear a wahoo?